It's so hard just holding on. Hello, friends and family. Happy Hump Day and welcome to Nappy Conversations. I am your host, Nappy Coach Nia Green. Thank you for joining me today for Nappy Conversations. I am so honored and happy that you decided to take this journey with me today on a conversation. Happy International Women's Month. March has a lot of stuff going on. So good morning or good evening, gorgeouses. I don't even know if that's a word. Tonight we have joining us a really special friend of mine. I know I say that every week. That's because all of the women that I interview are very special to me. Um, they're just powerhouses. And this guest this week is definitely a powerhouse. Definitely a powerhouse. They call her the Petite Powerhouse for a very good reason, because when Coach Allison Denise opens her mouth, it is nothing but power that comes from it. One of the people that have met and is truly who she is, the same online as she is in person. What you get is what you get. And I just love her to death. Let me bring on my friend, my nappy mind, Coach Allison Denise, the Petite Powerhouse.
What's up, sis? What's up?
I just love you. And Petite Powerhouse is something that truly, truly describes your character. You are truly a powerhouse. How
I
how
have learned to accept that. Yes.
how did you pin that? Like, how did you come up with that?
So honestly, I was actually doing a branding class with my very first business mentor, and he was really big on coming up with monikers that you could use, and was real big on alliteration and stuff like that. And I started thinking about the different things people had called me, how they didn't expect such a powerful voice to come out of such a little body and stuff like that. And I started thinking, what words would fit, what words sound good. And when those two kind of came together, I felt this click in my stomach. I was like, oh, okay, I guess this is it.
Yes.
I guess this
Feels
is it.
good. It feels good. If it felt
Yes.
good.
If it felt
Yes.
good. Exactly.
Yes. Yes. Whenever you come into the virtual sanctuary, speak and say hello to me and Coach Allison Denise. Hey,
Yes.
Alexis. That's one of my babies. One of my
Oh.
daughter's best friends, and my cousin, who I can't wait to have on the show. My cousin Odessa Bailey. She is owner and
Okay.
operators of Teefies, and she does catering. And she's an awesome cook, and I just love her
Awesome.
to death. Thank you, cousin, for showing up.
Oh.
Love that. So it is International Women's Month,
Uh huh.
Allison.
Yes, it is.
Tell me what you feel is the most special thing about being a woman in this day and age.
Hmm. I think I think one of the most tremendous things about being a woman in this age would be our ability to adjust and adapt. Life is changing and moving. Mindsets are changing and evolving, not necessarily for the best in terms of society. And in the middle of all that, life has to keep going. Kids still need to be raised. Bills still need to be paid. Dreams still need to be fulfilled. Manifestations still need to come through. And I love that the same emotions and the same mindsets that we have used that people try to give negative connotations to are those same things that allow us to adjust to the energy of the moment. I think that's a huge thing, and I think that that's one of the biggest advantages we have right now.
We have evolved so much as women, you know, because if we think really about back in the day, if we go back to our grandmothers,
Yeah.
great grandmothers, it was a totally different time, a totally different energy. Because if we go back to their generation, they didn't have rights, you know. I talk all the time with different clients about um, relationships and the how relationships are formulated,
Yeah.
um, and marriage, because we didn't start out marrying for love. We were actually arranged for marriage because of economic construct,
Right.
right? So a man took a young child, because
Yep.
in
Literally.
let's keep it 100, a lot of
Literally.
yes, a lot of our grandparents were married before they were legal to drink, smoke, or do anything else.
13,
Um,
14 years old. Yep.
right. Um, and now, in this day and age, we have started to marry for love. Which one do you think is the better option?
We have had. Why are you asking me this? We have talked about this for hours. I see what you're doing, though. I see what you're doing. So,
There we
all
go.
right. So, I will say this. I will say, since we have last had our discussion about this, for those who were not on the phone, which would be everybody, I am pro love. I am pro emotions. I am pro chivalry. I am pro romance, opening the door, celebrating birthdays, roses, affection. I am pro all of that. I don't know if we can cuss, so I'm trying to keep my
Go
mind,
ahead.
my
Just
mouth.
just
Okay,
let it
I'm with
roll.
all that shit. I'm with all of that shit. And it is my personal opinion, my personal desire rather, that I not get married again without being in love. I don't believe in a man just being a paycheck or anything of that nature. Having said that, what I am noticing is kind of like what we saw with our grandparents. We see a lot of things on social media right now, and I know you have too, where we have a lot of men and women saying, "What happened to grandparent? Our grandparents stayed together forever, and how come marriages aren't lasting like that?" And this is one of those areas where I do salute myself and other women for our emotions and our ability to adjust. What people are forgetting is what you just said. We didn't have rights.
Right.
The caveat to that, however, is it wasn't just that we didn't have rights, it was that men took advantage of the fact that we didn't have rights. They felt that it was okay to go have a second family right up the street or a third family right up the street. They felt that it was okay to go to the juke joint and the hoe house because in their mind, we were nothing more than property. And as long as they were doing their due diligence and keeping the bills paid and keeping clothes on the backs of their kids, they felt like they could run the world. And they never took the time to really think about the emotional side of what a woman needs. They were only thinking provision. They were disrespectful. They were insensitive. They were dishonest, unfaithful. And our grandmothers and great grandmothers had to take it.
Yeah, because what
And
else
so
were they
those
gonna do?
what else were they were going to do, because what people don't understand, birth control was not the big issue causing our grandparents to have 14 and 15 kids. Granddaddy knew she's not going to leave me if I keep getting her pregnant. If there was still a mindset of control even in that.
Well, not even
And
not only just that, but they had 14 and 15 children so that they could work the land.
that too. But
So
from the male standpoint, there was still a benefit of control there. There
right,
was and what a lot of brothers don't understand is if those same men that they call grandfather, great grandfather, great uncle, if they had taken that position in addition to loving their wives, we may most likely still be
In love.
walking in love and happy to be at home and happy to have your babies. And so while I'm not going to take away from my desire to marry for love, I'm not going to say now that I don't understand women who say, give me the cash. I do get it now. And the reason that I get it now is because if you're constantly coming from a place of love and vulnerability, you're keeping yourself open, and things are going to hurt more and things are going to affect you more. And if you're constantly dealing with men who think their paychecks determine how they get to act, eventually you're going to put your heart away and say, okay, fine. If that's all you care about, then that's all I'm going to care about.
We have
So
to
I
keep
get
this.
it.
I get it, but we have to keep this balance though.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you have the brother saying like, it's this big conversation of what you bring to the table, right? you
Uh-huh.
know the conversation of even dating now,
Mm-hmm.
like who
Mm-hmm.
pay first date should be Dutch, and
Mm-hmm.
we why do I have to pay all the bills, and like the male construct of family has changed too, because a lot of men now don't believe that they should just be sole providers. They feel like the women have to come to the table with certain things too. I don't totally disagree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Not totally.
Mm-hmm.
But there is something said about having a man in your life who is a provider and a protector.
Right, right.
But
And
it's
I'll go ahead.
go ahead.
So the whole I'm going to go on record and say this: no woman who truly knows her value and her worth should even entertain the what do you bring to the table conversations. If you are, stop it today. No woman should be having those conversations, because the thing is, while I do understand why men are saying that, I'm also listening to the type of men who are saying that. And that's what we have to also pay attention to. Yes, things are a lot more expensive than they were before. And I do definitely understand that. And yes, there are some gold digging women out here, and I definitely understand that. I also notice, however, that the gold diggers are still using the same bait that they used 25, 35, 45 years ago. So is the issue the gold diggers, or is the issue that men have still not figured out how to keep their dicks in check? And how many men are, I'll say this, I have met a lot of assholes. I have dated men that I cannot wait to never see again. I have blocked my share of brothers, but the one thing I never dealt with was a brother who didn't want to pay for a damn dinner. Never dealt with a brother who didn't want to open the door, even if I had to teach him that I wanted it to happen. I've never dealt with a brother who didn't want to take me out and do something nice for me. What I'm noticing is we're having a lot of men who are having bitch fits because their paychecks can't handle the current budgets. I'm not going to support your what do you bring to the table when I know the issue is that you can no longer afford the table by yourself. Just say you can't
But you
afford the
shouldn't be
table by
dating.
yourself.
You
I,
shouldn't be
I
dating
do
if you
not
can't afford it by
disagree.
yourself, and that goes for men and women.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you shouldn't be dating, don't even come to the table. Just take your plate and go sit in the living room. Ain't no room at the table,
It's not.
Um, let's see. Odessa says, if white men can handle running their household, so can black men. You know what though? I don't even think
Mm.
it's is it a race thing?
So
Because
I do
you know
think
what?
to
I
be,
have I
yeah.
have some white sisters
Mm-hmm.
that date white men,
Mm-hmm.
and they go through the same trifling
They do. They
that
do.
every other woman goes through.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's not a matter of race. I think it's just men, period. I think it's just the species of men, period.
I do. I will put a pin with black men, though. We do still have to understand that in terms of demographics, black men are the ones at the bottom. Now, I'm not going to say that that's completely society's fault, but black men, in terms of what they're bringing home, they tend to be at the bottom. That's why we see so many black men who end up breaking that barrier and making those six figures. And again, it goes back to, what do you do when you have the power? That's how men lost the ability to take care of women. They abuse power. What is happening with some of the black men? Notice I said some, so don't come up here talking to me no kind of way, because I will give you your energy back. There are some black men who have busted through that barrier. They're now making six figures. And what are they doing with that? Now they're dating 15, 16 women, because instead of understanding the positive influence they could have by creating one family unit, they're now walking around with the arrogance of having options. So they're still going back to causing their own issue. I didn't say it. Talk to your brothers. Talk to your brothers. Watch what they're doing. And so with the other side of that, I do think that we have to remember that there are situations where black men are not making the same as their male counterparts of other races. So barring that, yeah, men are going to be men. They're no different just because they grew up in a different part of the country or a different part of the world or a different continent. If they not shit, they not shit.
If you're not shit in America, you ain't shit in Africa.
You're not going to be shit in, exactly. There are not shits all over the continent. They just have different languages and different ways of saying, I'm not shit. That's it.
True. Odessa says, women are now treating men like women, yet they look for a man. So maybe it is a few sisters out there giving the slide. I don't. Not I, said the cat. But
let me add myself to that list.
But that's true. See, black men are the only men who compare themselves to women. Some.
I see that hashtag some. Now I can't say for sure if that's true, because I have not talked to every man in every race, but I will say that on this, based off of social media, I'm going to have to agree. I don't see white men having these conversations. I don't see Asian men or Hispanic men having, well, what do I, they just take their woman out. Now, they may end up being not shit after they say I do, but at least during the dating and courtship process, they just taking the girl out on the date. They're not complaining about this nonsense. That's why I say, no sister, no black woman who knows her value should be having these conversations. This is low vibrational shit. We don't do low vibrational shit, and we're not going to entertain low vibrational conversation. This is low energy shit. And it's usually propagated by men who are arrogant because they're making six figures, or men who are mad that they can't afford to foot the bill anymore because stuff is too high. Both of them can get the fuck over it.
Period.
Okay. Period.
Black women are now asking black men for their hand in marriage. I see that.
They are.
Across.
They are.
I see that all across.
Not never. 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 Never.
Look. For me, myself, personally, I'm running if he asks. So I damn sure ain't asking.
I know that's right.
For that. I don't think people really understand, especially unless you've been through it. Mm-hmm. I don't think a lot of people understand what marriage truly is. You know what I mean? A lot of people still are caught up in thinking that it's rainbows, unicorns, and multiple orgasms a week. And that wasn't happening in my marriage. So I don't know whose marriage that is happening in, but I don't think we're doing enough good not keeping it real. You know?
Yeah.
When you have been through marriage before. Dorothy Warnack.
I love the name. Love it.
Salutations, AD. We share practically the same opinions on everything. I knew you'd bring the heat.
Well,
because she is the petite powerhouse. She is. She is. Well, I'd rather not be shit to a prince in Africa than not shit to a Negro in America.
You know what, Odessa? I ain't even mad at you. I ain't even mad at you. If I'm gonna cry, let me cry into a gold plated plate instead of a paper ass napkin. I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad. I understand.
Oh, shoot.
I ain't mad.
Some ancient black men come from ancient black women. Now that is the truth.
That is the truth.
But we are, even as mothers, because
Mm-hmm.
you're a mother to an
Mm-hmm.
African American male, just
I
like
am.
I'm mother to an African American male. And I
Mm-hmm.
think the key to raising good sons,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, is healing ourselves as women
Absolutely.
to that should be the why for healing. Not just
Mm-hmm.
our
Mm-hmm.
not just for our sons,
Mm-hmm.
but for our daughters too. Because when we
Yes.
don't heal, the generational curse continues.
Mm-hmm.
When you don't heal, you parent like your parents parented. When
Mm-hmm.
you don't heal, it's a lot of things that you're not talking about with your children. And so they go out and make the same mistakes that we made, and nothing ever changes. Every
Yeah.
generation has to do it a little bit different because the next generation of kids are damn sure different.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
children are different than when I grew up. And so their needs are a
Mm-hmm.
little bit better
I agree.
or different, you
Mm-hmm.
know? That a child should be seen and not heard really has to
Yeah.
go out of the window, because
Yep.
now we have children. Let's look at it, because you have men and women who now don't know how to communicate what their needs are. We have
Mm-hmm.
men and women who don't know how to express their emotional intelligence properly.
Yeah.
So you have a whole bunch of nuck if you buck out here. But that's
Mm-hmm.
because nobody is taking responsibility for their own healing.
That's the part that I wanted to talk about. I definitely agree with Tamasha about some ancient men are coming from ancient women. I 100% agree, and I've seen it firsthand. I definitely understand. We also have to think about who's putting in the effort when they come from these situations, because at some point these boys who grow into men, at some point they know something about mom is not right. But what ends up happening is ego. The male ego keeps winning. And so you have these men who were brought up by these damaged, broken, angry, bitter ass women, and they're angry with her. But instead of reflecting that anger back at her, they come out here and fuck over every woman they date. That does, but the thing is, it never hurts the mother. You're now just out here hurting women. You want to know who a fuckboy was? Look at who has daughters. Universe don't play. Spirit don't play. Now, am I saying every man who has a daughter was a fuckboy? No, but I am telling you that most fuckboys have daughters. Because
Yes.
universe is like, nah, the bloodline's gonna stop with you, bro.
And so can we go back, heal and repair,
Heal
please?
and repair. Yeah, you came from a not shit woman. What are you doing about it? Besides damaging other women
Other people, period.
and saying that you're fine. You think you're fine.
Mm. We're in a time now since 2020 where um, mental health is a big topic,
Mm-hmm.
right? But
Mm-hmm.
not everybody is acknowledging that mental health is real. Like, your therapist should be on speed dial just like your internal medicine doctor. You should have a life coach on speed dial just like you do your chiropractor or whatever. Like,
Mm-hmm.
mental health is sexy, but it's not one of those things that you do for leisure. I think
Yeah.
a lot of male population, period, because women are now more open to saying, I need to go talk to my therapist, that it's
Mm-hmm.
very important that I get in therapy so that I
Mm-hmm.
can heal
Yeah. Yeah.
the trauma that I've been through. But men are still saying, I don't need to really talk to nobody. You know, I will be overjoyed when we get to the place where men feel like it's just more important like women do, and not have a woman drag them to the therapist's office.
Exactly. And I think for those who are watching, for those who are, learning more about mental health, unfortunately, in addition to mental health being important, like Coach Nia is talking about, at this point right now, it's also just a buzzword. And that's what part of the problem is. It's just a hot, cool thing to say. Protecting my energy is just a cool thing to say. Wait until it's no longer a buzzword and start and then follow the people who are still discussing it, because they're the ones who understand that this is something that still needs to be dealt with, even when it's not popular anymore, even when poets aren't writing about it anymore, even when songs aren't talking about it anymore. This still needs to be discussed, and the ones who are truly passionate about it, they're going to still keep talking when the next buzzword has started to take over people's attention. So just be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, well, because you can't play healed.
No, you
You can
can't.
only be healed.
Yeah.
And because healing and mental health and all of those words have become trendy, you have more people speaking them, but a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
not healing, they just eavesdropping on somebody else's healing.
Mm-hmm.
And they think that it's rainbows and unicorns when
Mm-hmm.
it's not. Healing is not
Right.
pretty. It's not
It's
pretty.
not.
It's the nastiest, deepest, darkest place that you could ever go into, to pull out all of those traumas and all of those things that have kept you stuck, got you in low self-esteem, low
Mm-hmm.
vibrational
Mm-hmm.
thinking. um you can't play. That's It's not a game. It's not a game when we get down, to the nitty gritty of it. We got to
Exactly.
stop blaming black women because an ain't woman was created by ain't man. You can't say men are leaders, but when shit go wrong, we blame the women.
I'm
You need to
sorry.
stand up, AD. You
I
know?
want to, but I'm only decent from the waist up, so I'm gonna keep my ass in the seat. But the thing is, and Coach Nia, I understand where she comes from, because she's real big on making sure that we as women hold ourselves accountable. And I take that from her because I know her heart. But one of the biggest issues that we see, especially in the black community, everything is the black woman's fault. But we got these Negroes who keep saying they the head. Well, Negro, if you the head, then
Be
take
that.
your hits as well as your hugs. Acknowledge both, because that's a true leader. That's what people don't understand. We got too many men who say they want to be leaders when they just want to be in charge.
Ooh.
And so a leader will stand when things are going right, and a leader is going to stand when things are going wrong.
And a leader
So
will
if
serve. That's
a
a
leader
whole part
serves,
of leadership, is
a leader
serving.
serves, and
Serving
a
your
leader,
community, still serving
exactly,
your family, still serving your wife.
exactly. And a leader will always make themselves approachable, not hands off. And
Right.
so when we listen to these brothers, this is another conversation that I want my sisters to stop entertaining. If you're watching these men saying shit like she should have chose better, or she should have this, don't participate in this low level gaslighting bullshit, because the thing is, those same men have been taught by they not shit uncle, they not shit daddy, and they not shit granddaddy on how to have the right game, the right mouthpiece. So if a woman figures you out, you got those same not shits telling you that your mouthpiece wasn't right. So if the purpose of your mouthpiece being right is for us to not figure out that you're not shit, you don't then get to turn around and say, well, my game worked. You didn't know I wasn't shit, but you should have chose better. Fuck you. We're not doing it. So stop having those conversations, because the one thing that a lot of brothers who have not healed, who have not, taken ownership of their own, one of the biggest things that they have a PhD in is deflecting.
Hmm.
They will deflect until they die if they refuse to heal. As long as they can find a way to deflect, they're never in the wrong, and they never have a reason to seek any help. I throw that shit right back at them. I piss them off, but you're not gonna give me your shit. I got enough of my shit that I'm healing from. I'm not taking yours too. No, sir. So I want us to stop having those conversations. That's another indication that this brother is living in low energy and low vibration. Let him stay there by himself. Because a man, a leader, is going to listen to see if there's something he needs to correct. There ain't a
Right.
lot of them out there, but I promise you, I've met them. They exist.
They do. They do. Because there's some good fellas out there.
Yes, there
It's
are.
some good fellas out there, and
Yes,
that
there are.
they're getting their healing. They're
Mm-hmm.
coming into agreement that therapy is needed, that a
Mm-hmm.
life coach is needed, that
Yep.
medication might be needed.
Might be needed. Mm-hmm.
You know, the same thing as women are doing. It's a few brothers stepping into because they realize too that they are walking on low vibrations,
Yes,
and we got to get past the buzzwords. We have to
we
get
do.
past the buzzwords. Like
We do.
we have to stop playing the game of healing and trying to be better. We have to just
Mm-hmm.
actually become better
Exactly.
people,
Exactly.
and not just for the children but for the community, so the community can move forward.
And I want to say something about that when you were talking about the children. We've got to stop, and this is on either side of the fence that it applies to. We have to stop letting the children be the focus of every interaction.
Mm.
That's where a lot of brothers miss it. A lot of these brothers who end up with these single kids, they had such shitty fathers that once they find out they're becoming a father, they put so much focus on being a father that they end up brushing the woman who gave birth to those kids to the side like she's no longer important. You want to talk about these bitter women and these bitter ass baby mamas? Sit down and ask them how many of them felt like they were thrown away and cast off after they pushed out that baby, or after they were cut open to have that baby. See,
Or
what we
after
have
they
to,
pissed on the stick to find out that they were having the baby.
or after they pissed on the stick. Exactly. What we have to start doing is holding everybody accountable. We're not going to keep doing the, well, you should have chose better. And the thing is, men also have a PhD, the ones who are unhealed. They have a PhD in telling just enough of the story that it's not a lie, but they find a way to purposely stop right before you can see where they fucked up. Every
Back
single
to the
time.
deflecting.
Back to the deflecting. Oh, well, I'm not going to tell this part of the story because then they'll know the whole truth. I don't want them to know the whole truth,
Right.
because then they'll see that they'll see where I messed up. A lot of these bitter women, I'm not telling you that they don't need to be healed. I am telling you that a woman is emotional. One of the very first things that we need, and yes, sometimes we have to learn to heal around it, but one of the first things that we need is for our wounded emotions to be acknowledged and validated. So when you decide that you want to go out here and you've cheated on this woman 15 different times, or you kept trying to come back just to bring her the same shit, she's getting hurt over and over, that wound is getting deeper and deeper, then you decide you want to move forward and you're telling her to get over it. How's she going to get over it when you kept bringing the shit to her? You never said, I'm sorry. You never apologized. You never acknowledged the pain that you caused. No, there's nothing you can do to take it back. But damn it, you can help to close the wound.
Well, can we just like talk about it? Can we even have the communication about it in the first place?
Exactly.
Because
A
sometimes
lot
it's
of
not
you,
even an apology that's needed.
exactly.
It's like closure isn't necessarily an apology. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
closure is just the acknowledgement of the thing.
A lot of these brothers would have never ended up on child support if they sat their asses down, stopped posting the new chick 2 seconds after they broke up with the baby's mama, and sat there and let that woman scream, cry, and punch him in the shoulder a couple of times. A lot of y'all would have never ended up in child support if you would grow the hell up, use the balls that you keep telling us you have, and decide to face your ups. If you decide to do that, you'd have a lot of money in your pocket right now. Some of y'all could still fix it,
It's
but you're
not too
so
late.
busy playing victim that you won't go back and clean up your mess. You just go find a new chick. And the reason you're always finding a new chick is because you keep making the same shit because you won't clean it up.
But you find a new
I'm
chick and
sorry.
then you go do the same thing all over again. So now you got two
Exactly.
traumas and you're creating more trauma babies.
More trauma babies, more damaged women. And the women who come after these, stop being so stupid. And I said it, I mean it, I'm not taking it back. If you're dealing with a man that got 4 kids, three different women, and the only thing he can tell you is that they all crazy, stop believing that shit. Stop being so dumb that you sit there and think that you are the unicorn that's going to make it all right. No, you just the next chapter. Don't participate in down talking that woman. You don't know the story because you weren't there, and you probably got a shitty story of your own with another dude who's out calling you crazy. How does that feel?
Right. But women have to take some responsibility in this too. Because until we heal,
Mm-hmm.
we go and get the low vibrational just for the fact that we don't want to be alone, just because
Right,
I'm tired of
right.
being single, just
Mm-hmm.
because I want to be held at night, just because I feel like I can't be celibate and I need to go get me some. So we're dealing with the low like some things are not, we can't just put everything on the brothers because some things we
Yeah,
call to ourselves.
but we also have to, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but we also have to remember that between the two genders, it's usually the women who are being programmed since birth that they're supposed to need a man. So I'm not taking away from the fact that we do need to take ownership. But if you've been programmed from a kid, we're the ones who get the dolls. We're the ones who get the Cinderella stories. We're the ones who get the look for the knight in shining armor. And we've seen it. Even women in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. And some of y'all have done it yourself. I know I did before I evolved. How many times has a wonderful woman been introduced before she gets on to speak? The woman is making millions of dollars. She's written best-selling books. She's done all of this stuff. But the first thing we say is she's not complete because she's not married. So if you have that continuously going around, yeah, you can heal all day, but even healed women, unless they deal with that stuff that was programmed and rip it out, they're always going to feel like there's something incomplete because we were told as babies that we're incomplete if we're not
If we
part
don't
of
have
a
a man,
unit. Exactly.
that's true, but we know different.
We do. We do. We sure do.
We know different now, so we have to operate different, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And not every woman feels like, not every woman in today's time feels like she needs a man.
Exactly. Exactly.
Sometimes you just want one really bad,
Mm-hmm.
that you'll neglect yourself and your worth, the worth that you know that you're worth, to keep
Yeah.
dealing with somebody because, oh, he gives good sex, oh, because he buys gifts, oh, because he XYZ ABC, whatever, whatever. And we become comfortable in talking to our homegirl about the ain't shit that he doing, and we want sympathy for it,
Yep.
when really you have all of the tools to get yourself up out of that.
Absolutely. Every single time.
And you can't heal what's broken dealing with broken energy.
Mm-mm. You can't. It's like trying to take you have a flat tire and you decide you're going to drive the car with the flat tire to go get the tire fixed. You'll never get there.
Or you gonna mess something else up
Or you're going to mess something else up. Mm-hmm.
trying to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Most definitely. So as a life coach, what do you feel like your niche is? Because I know you've opened up your books to accept new coaching clients.
Yeah.
Y'all, if you call AD, you're gonna have to be ready. Cause you already see that she don't play no games with you. She not gonna play no games with you. What do you feel like is your coaching niche? And not to put you
So,
in a box, because I know that it
yeah.
is so broad, but what are you looking for for an ideal client as coaching?
So as you can tell if you're watching, I'm very passionate about dating. I'm very passionate about relationships. I have been able to get a little more clear about my scopes within the last couple of weeks. So I'm glad you asked that. I'm now calling myself the comeback coach. I will still talk about dating. I'm still talking about relationships and stuff like that. But one day I had this epiphany while I was meditating that we have literally millions of people who are calling themselves relationship coaches, but the divorce rate hasn't changed. The divorce rate hasn't changed. The stories that we're hearing on social media haven't changed. The situationships that people keep flocking to watching on TV, none of that's changed. So that doesn't tell me that relationship coaches are ineffective. It's telling me that we're still dealing with people who have not dealt with themselves. And so, what I've decided to do is get to the point where my niche is going to be for those who have just been clobbered by heartbreak or have been clobbered by life happening in their finances. Those are the two areas that can take us out and take our confidence, our value, and our self worth with us. And so, what I do now is it's take you through a 12-step approach, a 12-week program called TKO, where we actually sit down and we look at, okay, where are you right now? Where do you want to be? And we're not just going to focus on how to get you there. We're going to focus on where you could have possibly had a blind spot so that you're aware of it going forward. I don't want to teach you perfection. I want to teach you how to perfectly know who you are. And so that's what my niche is. If you have been knocked down, it didn't matter how many times you've tried to love a man, he ran away, or he did dumb shit because he was afraid and didn't know how to deal with his emotions. If you've dealt with that so many times that you feel like there's something wrong with you, that you're unlovable, that maybe it's not meant for you to have it, if you have had to start over financially multiple times, either because you made bad decisions or because life happened, and you don't see yourself the same, you've put on weight or you lost weight, you isolate, you're a hermit, you don't feel valuable, you don't feel worthy. You may have had some good people come up to approach you, but you felt like you weren't good enough for them. If you're in that situation, that is who I'm here to cater to, because we got to get ourselves right, whether there is someone for us or not. And the beautiful thing is, you will get to a place where you no longer care. I'm not saying you're not going to want the relationship or the partnership, but you're no longer going to care when it comes or if it comes. And that is where you have your most power. That is where you lose the desire. Even when you're lonely, you lose the desire for this low vibrational bullshit that a lot of men keep trying to bring to us. You no longer want to tolerate it because you understand being by yourself is not a punishment. It's actually a blessing.
Hmm, most definitely. What what got you to the point where you were so passionate about relationships?
So I am someone who loves love. I have seen actual love transform people. I've seen the light come back to people's eyes. I've seen the pep come back in their step. I've seen good people get together and love on each other to the point that they do so much more together than they could have ever done alone. And I know that love is healing. I know love is transcendent. I know it's consistent. I know that it's a beautiful feeling that you can experience. But we've had a lot of people who've taken that word love and attached it to some really fucked up stuff. And
Hmm.
now as a result, people hear the word love and they automatically do this instead of this.
Right.
They're like, love, oh no, I know what happened when the last person did it, and they're not verbalizing it. It's an automatic response to put the walls up when the L word comes out, instead of letting the gate down, another wall comes up. And I know it's because of previous pain, And so I want to do my part to show people just because they use that word doesn't mean that that's what it was. Let me show you what love is, and let me show you how to get rid of the effects of what didn't love you so that you're not afraid of the person who comes along who wants to. And so that's where my passion came from. I'm just tired of seeing people run from good people because of what they've dealt with before. It's completely counterproductive, and it ends up damaging those who had the pure heart. So now we got more people out here that need to be healed.
I agree. I love that though. I love love too. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
lover. I love love. I love to see new couples get together.
Mm-hmm.
I love to see how people really treat each other when they genuinely
Yes.
care about
Yes.
one another. And I always say you can't really say that you love someone else, right? Because people throw the word around a lot. Oh, I
Mm-hmm.
love you. But what does it mean if you don't love yourself? Because self love is the first love that you have to give.
I do agree with that. I think we have to also remember that there are some people who have been taught real love. I do think it's possible to love other people and not love yourself, because we have to remember even the foundation of codependency. Those people were taught the value of real love. They just weren't taught how to give it to themselves. So they're legitimately loving the person that they're with, but because they haven't properly learned how to love themselves, that's how they end up attached to narcissists. Because narcissists love for you to keep giving and giving and giving and giving. Love it. Will let you die doing that. And so if someone has been taught to love others but not taught how to love themselves, they are coming from a sincere place. They just sincerely were never taught that they deserve it too. And that those are the ones that we need to grab so they don't continuously end up attached to people that suck them dry. What's up, Tate?
That's your homie. Every
You know it. You
every
know
time you on, take gonna show up.
it. That's what we do.
I love it. I love it to have that support system.
Yes,
Most definitely. Those are important.
they
Those
are.
those those friendships and that
Yes,
support
they
system is
are.
definitely important. So,
Mm-hmm.
welcome to Nappy Conversations, Tate. So I'm not going to keep you very much longer because you have the Petite Powerhouse podcast.
I do. Bouncing back is coming on around 9:15 tonight. Around 9:15, we'll be going live over on Patreon.
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we first met. What was our first real meeting? Was it the shop?
I guess my dinner's here.
I know we met. We were
Yeah.
we were in the same community, in the same class before, and
You
we.
know, we never officially met. I ended up, it was one of the very first lives that you did when you were, or was it
Uh,
after we met that I saw that live? It might have been after we met that I saw that you went live. Maybe that was it. That, you
no, I
know
think it
what?
was before. It was
This
before
is what
because
I
it was
love
that
about
December when I did
connections
the
like
30
this.
days of live. Uh huh.
I don't remember when you weren't in my life. It's like you just it's like you're here and I'm like, I know at some point she wasn't, but I don't even remember when that changed.
I just love it when you can meet somebody and you just truly
Mm-hmm.
connect because it's the same with you. We've been journal, going through this journey together
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
for a year because you are one of my fellow nappy minds.
Yes.
You
Yes.
gave me the honor. It's always an honor to start your locks.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been really tribing. You've become a fellow coach sister of
Mm-hmm.
mine with the Global Institute of Coaches and Entrepreneurs.
I have.
And you're right. It's like it's been such a short time, but it feels like it's been forever.
It
Like
does.
it's hard to remember a time when we weren't friends,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And I love that I can truly call you my friend, and that
Yes,
we straighten each other's crown and be like,
we
what
do.
was you thinking? That wasn't a wise decision. Nia, what are you doing?
We do. We do.
So yes, 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 yes. Tate. I love the name Nappy Conversations. Thank you, Tate. I am the Nappy Coach. Never
Yes, she is.
apologize for the purpose and passion of you. Yes, I did start her
You
locks.
know what, Tate?
Are
See,
my
we not
hands
doing
okay?
that. We not doing that. I know my hair is thick as hell. We not doing that.
She's fine. She's
Yes.
fine. I've seen worse. I've seen a lot worse. She's good. She's good. Trust. So I do want to say thank you again for joining me on Nappy Conversations. I am always so honored when someone says yes to be a guest. It's been a wonderful talk and a beautiful experience. You are truly a beautiful spirit, um, and full of power. You know, I think we had that conversation where I told you, like, I love reading your posts and then seeing you in person, and the same energy that is on social media is
Mm-hmm.
also what you get in real life. There is no variation. There's no, she don't sugarcoat nothing in real life or on social media. Like what you see is what you get, and it's beautiful to be able to experience authentic people
Yeah.
and really know somebody who um, honors their voice. You truly honor your voice when you speak. Have you always been this, Allison? Have you always been this outspoken? This
It took me 39 years to find my
Mm,
voice. 39 years. So I'm basically playing catch up, and I have this tendency to attract a lot of people who have been deceived and mistreated and manipulated, and it's important to me, first to myself, that I'm true to myself, but in terms of my contribution and responsibility to others, it's important to me that those people know that they're in a safe space. Whether they want to talk to me or not, I always want to be the one spot where they don't feel like they have to keep their eyes glued to the all the way. Well, let me make sure I can trust my. I want to make sure that I'm one spot where they can rest from all that, because I know that there aren't a lot of people that they can do that with.
that's beautiful. Thank you for stepping into your authenticity and being
Thank you.
yourself. I think the world is a better place with you, because I think we need more people who are comfortable using their voice and
Mm-hmm.
speaking out, and using that throat chakra, you know, because so many times we go with things left unsaid, or the thing that we wish we would have said or could have
Mm-hmm.
said that would have made a difference and change of perspective. And so I really hope that
Yes.
anybody who tuned in tonight was able to get a different perspective, um, and maybe even some healing. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we didn't man bash. The That's not what we be doing. We just want the brothers to like just get it together, do a little healing, because the women are on it. You see women everywhere, really thriving and getting their lives together for the betterment of not just themselves and their children, but for the whole community. Because
Mm-hmm.
when you heal, the whole world can heal. And it's just very, very important that we all take the steps in order to do so. So
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
that's really the whole gist of what this conversation was about tonight, is really man, woman, black, white. Get your healing. Get
Get
you
your
a
healing.
coach. I have pinned Coach Allison's LinkedIn, to where if you wanted to reach out to her later. If you're looking for a life coach, be sure to reach out to her. But like I said, she don't play no games, so you're gonna have to be ready. You're gonna have to be ready
I
for it.
don't. Yeah.
Um,
I don't side with gender. I side with behavior. I side with
I
behavior always.
Yes. Melissa, you can catch the replay or you can check me out on YouTube, Nappy Conversations. If you enjoyed this conversation, please like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, Nappy Conversations. And also be sure to subscribe to Coach Allison because she goes live every week also, and she is always giving powerhouse conversations, purposeful conversations. Because I swear your lives be having. I can't type fast enough because I be one girl. Oh my goodness! Like Odessa earlier, she was like, "I got so much to say," but when you start talking, you do have. You're like, "Oh, and this point, and this point." So I totally understand. So give everybody where they can find you on Patreon. Or are you on YouTube?
So I'm on Patreon under Bouncing Back, which is the name of the podcast. And if you guys click the link that Coach Nia put into the comments, that link takes you to everything that I'm on. It shows you the events that I have coming. It shows you the retreat information that I'm doing at the end of the year. It shows you all the social media that I'm on. And I'm currently in the middle of changing up, specifically on YouTube. I started a new channel, but now I've decided to keep both channels. So one is going to be dedicated to talking about the love and relationship aspect, and one is going to be where we talk about basic personal finance. We have a lot of people talking about NFTs and Bitcoins and stuff like that. But as a black woman specifically, it's real hard to think about that when you're still at the starting gate of how do I get my bills paid on time every month. And
Right.
so I'm gonna fill in that gap where we start talking about the foundation so that the idea of spending $10,000 a month to invest doesn't sound so far fetched because you're now able to take care of your day to day. And so we're going to focus on stuff like that on the other channel. So you can find everything related to me at that link.
Awesome. Y'all tap in with the Petite Powerhouse Coach AD. I just love saying that
Thank you.
because it's truly who you are. Again, I want to thank you all for tuning in tonight for Nappy Conversations. Remember, Nappy means never apologize for the purpose and passion of you. And it has been a great, wonderful Wednesday night conversation. I
Yes.
will see you all next week with another powerful Nappy conversation with another powerful guest. Again, you can follow me on YouTube under Nappy Conversations. Please like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And stay nappy. Have a nappy week. And I love you all.